Hello students, welcome back. This is class 7th Science, chapter number 3. I know you have gone through all the video lectures of this chapter, Fibre to Fabric. However, this is the last video in which I will be summarizing all the topics we have done. In this video, the complete chapter is divided into 3 parts. Let us start. The chapter Fibre to Fabric is divided into 3 parts. In the first part, we will be learning about fibers, that is, types of fibers and few examples of fibers. You all know we wear clothes made from different raw materials which are obtained from plants as well as animals like cotton, jute, silk, wool, nylon, etc. Let us first of all reiterate few of the topics which we have already studied in 6th standard. Let's begin with what is fiber? The long, thin, thread-like strands are called fibers. The properties of the fibers depend upon the source they are obtained from. Let us now look at what are the different types of fibers. Different types of fibers are used in preparation of different clothes. They are natural fibers and man-made fibers. Natural fibers are further divided into two based upon their origin. Number 1, plant origin. Number 2, animal origin. Whereas man-made fibers are prepared from chemicals. Let's have few examples of fibers. Number 1, fibers of plant origin. These are the fibers which we get from plants. Cotton and jute. Number 2, fibers of animal origin. As the name suggests, we extract these fibers from the animals. Silk and wool. Number 3, man-made fibers or synthetic fibers. These are the fibers which are created or synthesized by the man. Rayon, nylon, and polyester are some of the examples. As you are already aware, in our syllabus we have to focus just on the natural fibers having animal origin. So we will be covering wool and silk. Let us start with wool. Here we will be learning about some wool yielding animals, then the journey from fiber to wool, and ultimately different steps which are involved in obtaining wool from sheep. Starting with wool. Wool comes from sheep, goat, yak, and some other animals. These wool yielding or wool producing animals wear hair on their body. Students, you are already aware that hair trap a lot of air and air is a poor conductor of heat. So, hair keeps these animals warm. Wool is derived from these hairy fibers. Let us now learn about some of the wool yielding animals. Starting from sheep. We all know that the hairy skin of sheep has two types of fibers that form its fleece. They are number 1, the coarse breed hair, number 2, the fine soft under hair close to the skin. We are also aware that several breeds of sheep are found in different parts of the country. However, the fleece of sheep is not the only source of wool, though wool commonly available in the market is sheep wool. The second wool yielding animal is yak. Yak wool is common in the regions of Tibet and Ladakh. Moving further, goat is another wool yielding animal. The under fur of Kashmiri goat is soft. It is woven into fine shawls called pashmina shawls. On similar ground, Angora goats are also wool yielding animal. Angora wool is obtained from Angora goats. They are found in hilly regions such as Jammu and Kashmir. Adding to the same sequence, camel also yield wool. The fur or hair on the body of camels is also used as wool. Lastly, llama and alpaca. Llama and alpaca are found in South America. They also yield wool. After learning about different wool producing animals, now let us have a look at some Indian breeds of sheep. In our country, we have different breeds of sheep. They all produce different quality of wool and they are found in different states as per their adaptability. The first breed is Lohi. It yields good quality wool and are commonly found in Rajasthan and Punjab. Rampur Bushehr is the second breed. It produces brown fleece and we can trace them in Uttar Pradesh as well as Himachal Pradesh. The third breed is Nali. The quality of wool which they produce is used to prepare carpet, hence commonly known as carpet wool. They are found in the states of Rajasthan, Haryana and Punjab. Bakarwal is another breed of sheep. The wool produced by these sheep are used for woolen shawls and are commonly found in Jammu and Kashmir. The fifth breed is Marwari. The quality of wool they produce is known as coarse wool, and they are found in the state of Gujarat. Sixth and the last breed which is in our syllabus is Patanwadi. The wool which they produce is used for hosiery, and these sheep are also found in Gujarat. Let's start from fiber to wool. The wool, which is used for knitting sweaters or for weaving shawls, is the finished product of a long process which involves many steps. Let's have a quick look at the different steps which are involved in getting wool from sheep. Starting from rearing and breeding, then shearing, then washing or scoring, after that sorting, then comes step number 5, carding, dyeing, spinning, and finally weaving. Let us quickly look at the steps in wool production, starting with rearing and breeding. Rearing of sheep involves the grazing of sheep, feeding of sheep on a mixture of pulses, corn, jawar, oil cakes, etc. for producing wool. Breeding refers to the production of new offspring from the parents by make them mating. After this comes shearing. Shearing of sheep is defined as the process of removing woolen fleece of the sheep. Then comes scoring. The sheared skin with hair of sheep is then washed thoroughly to remove dust, grease, or dirt. This process is termed as scoring. Scoring can be done in tanks or by machines. After it comes sorting. Hairs of different textures are separated in sorting. Then comes separation of burrs. Burrs are small, fluffy fibers that are separated from the hair. Along with this process, the wool fibers are passed through rollers for straightening. And finally, dyeing. Fibers are dyed in various colors. Adding to your knowledge, people working in sorting department are at a risk because they may get infected by anthrax bacteria. The anthrax disease is a fatal blood disease. It is also called sorter's disease. Yes, you all got it right. While separating the wool based upon its texture, the sorters may get infected. We have already learned few topics about wool. Now, let us look at the next animal origin natural fiber, silk. In this topic, we will be learning about silk, then the life history of silk moth, and finally the journey from cocoon to silk. Let us first of all know what is silk. Silk, commonly known as resham, is also an example of animal fiber. Silk fibers are obtained from the cocoon of silk moth, or commonly known as silkworm. Do you know the rearing of silk moths for obtaining silk is called sericulture? Students, before looking at the life cycle of silk moth in detail, let us first look at the diagrammatic representation of the same. In this life cycle, four major steps are given, starting from the adult moth. Female moth lays many tiny eggs. Then comes larva. Caterpillars feed on mulberry leaves for about 3 to 4 weeks. Each of them then spins a cocoon around itself. After that comes the cocoon. The caterpillar changes into a pupa inside the cocoon. And finally, we can again get the adult moth. Let us now look at the life cycle of a silk moth. The female silk moth lays hundreds of tiny eggs on the mulberry leaves. The larvae that hatch off the eggs are called caterpillars or silkworm. These caterpillars feed on mulberry leaves voraciously and grow in size. Let me tell you, larvae is the plural of larva and voraciously means enormously. We have understood the life cycle of a silkworm theoretically. Now, let us look at the diagrammatic representation of the same. Starting from the female moth lays many tiny eggs. Then a tiny black caterpillar hatches out of its egg. After that, the caterpillar eats mulberry leaves and grows bigger and bigger. I hope you all are tracing down the track in the clockwise direction. After that, the caterpillar spins a cocoon of silk thread around itself. Then we reaches at a stage called pupa. Inside the cocoon, the caterpillar changes into a pupa. The people who are involved in the sericulture business unwind the silk thread from the cocoon to weave into silk cloth. Otherwise, the pupa changes into a moth. The moth comes out of the cocoon. Gradually, with the time, it turns adult. The adult moths mate with each other and the cycle repeats itself once again. Here we have a journey from cocoon to silk. Let's learn about it. For obtaining silk, moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk threads. The breeding and management of silk moth for the production of silk involve the following steps. Rearing silkworms. A female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs at a time. The eggs are stored carefully on strips of cloth or paper and sold to silkworm farmers. The farmers keep eggs under hygienic conditions and under suitable conditions of temperature and humidity. Let us now summarize rearing silkworms through diagram. Starting from A. Female silkworm moth with eggs. Then comes B. Mulberry tree. After that, C. Larva, caterpillar or silkworm feeding on mulberry leaves. Once all these processes are done, finally we get cocoons, which is represented by D. After that, there comes processing silk. A pile of cocoons is used for obtaining silk fibers. The cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. The silk fibers separate out. Here, the process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling the silk. At the end, let us summarize the processing of silk. The healthiest moths are chosen for breeding and laying the eggs. After that, we all know the larvae that emerge once the eggs hatch are feed mulberry leaves. They continue feeding for 20 to 35 days. When the silkworm is about 35 days old, it starts spinning a cocoon around itself. This process takes about 3 to 7 days to complete. As the direction of arrow is pointing upward, the next step is the pupae inside the cocoons are killed by putting the cocoons in hot water, which kills the worms as well as loosens the filament. Students, here the word pupae is the plural of pupa. Once this step is done, one end of the silk thread is then passed through an eyelet and the thread reeled onto the wheel. Finally, single filaments are washed, dried, and twisted to form yarn. The texture of the fabric depends on the manner of twisting. Students, that's all for chapter number 3. I hope this video has helped you in revising and understanding the topics of the chapter. Still, if you have any doubt, feel free to write it in comment section. I will be happy to help you with the answers. As far as your homework is concerned, go ahead and log into your EdQuark account. Few assignments will be uploaded there on regular basis for you. And finally, after the completion of assignments on 15th April, that is Wednesday, an exam will be conducted for you. The questions will be there on EdQuark. Thank you.